Afternoon. This video documentation is in regards to the R60 chassis Mini Cooper headlights. I got the word from our vendor, speaking after the manufacturer. We did receive some replacement, not replacement actually, I'm sorry, some chipsets for the shutter for the low beam projectors. So this chipset is actually provided by the manufacturer, and what they're letting us know is to add these inline to the shutter connector, which they're mentioning that this should help some of the high beam issues that you might be having. So right this video, I'm just wanting to show you how this chipset is incorporated and how these headlights behave normally without the chipsets and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that for you right now. So I got the main grounding negative grounded for the main connector, and then what I'm going to do is trigger on the shutter mechanism, which you'll hear like a click 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 sound, which is the shutter plate moving up and down. So I have a 12 volt power supply that I'm going to be using to bench test the lights. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and then just go ahead and actuate the shutter mechanism, which you'll see something in terms of an output right here. You'll see the plate opening it up. Alright, so I'm triggering manually for the shutter plate to open up. Alright, so right now I've opened up the rear housing. You'll see actually two beige connectors. Do not touch the multicolored one, because that's actually for the auto leveling motor. Don't have to worry about that one. The only one you're going to be worrying about is the one with the two brown wires on one end, and then a black and a brown wire on the other end. Alright, this connection is actually leading to the low beam shutter. So what I'm going to do right now is actually go ahead and pinch down on this little tab right here, and then just kind of pull the connector right through to disconnect these two. So you got a male and you got a female on this end. So once I disconnected this, when you're handling this chipset, it is my greatest recommendation, because this is actually not taped up or kind of insulated. What I'm saying is be very careful for static shocks, meaning that if you built up a lot of static electricity, you know, rubbing against the carpeting on the ground or anything like that, if you graze with your finger and you do a static shock on this chipset, it'll pretty much destroy this chipset. So just take great caution when handling this chipset. If you feel like you have some static buildup, just go ahead and touch any metal grounded object so that you can dissipate the built up static electricity, and just a safety precaution when handling these chipsets. So that being said, you'll notice that this chipset also has a female and a male end as well. This actually matches the connectors that I've disconnected right now. And then you're going to go ahead and connect them to the corresponding opposite connectors so that you have everything in line with this chipset to the shutter mechanism. So again, female to the male connector right here. That went in with no issues. And then you got the male connector going to the headlights female connector. When connecting, if you feel some resistance connecting, don't just force it in. Just make sure to kind of check out how the pin aligns on this side, how the pin slots align this side, and you just need to make sure just kind of match it, work with it, so that, you know, everything clips in and just slides in. So right now I'm having some resistance, so I'm just going to play with the connector a little bit to make sure that they connect without any issues. Alright, so the pins went in, I got disconnected. So you can see that this chipset is now incorporated with the line of the headlights wiring. So you got the main connector following to this line connector right here. Now this connector is connecting the chipset. Chipset pretty much kicks out, connects to this connection, and leads to the low beam, high beam shutter plate inside. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and perform the same bench testing for you, what I've done with without the chipset, to show you that the functions are all the same. What our manufacturer is saying is that this chipset somehow communicates with the onboard computer to kind of help resolve the high beam shutter issue that you're having. So I'm going to go ahead and bench test this right now. You can see the cassette on the wall right there is the same situation. So I'm just testing, it's still working, no problem. So I'm hoping that the chipset that the manufacturer sent us to provide for you will resolve the issue that you're having. Lastly, once everything's plugged in with the chipset, whatnot, I do recommend plugging the main connector, testing the headlights behavior, making sure everything is fixed. If everything's behaving normally for your headlights, the last part, what you'll do is pretty much peel back this 3M tape, stick it inside the housing right here, so that it sticks in and it doesn't move around or anything like that. Excuse me. In case you don't want to stick the chipset inside the housing, you can always tuck it in anywhere away from the projector heat and whatnot, so that it's not really rubbing against any hot spots so the chipset burns out. But as long as it's clear from that or any obstruction, you should be fine. So hopefully this video gives you a good idea in regards to what we're asking for you to add in. And then I will follow up with regards to how to get these to you. Thank you so much for your time.